There you go. We're live.
We are.
Because it said no screen live.
Yes, we are.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Facebook Live. We are Dementia Strong. It's going to be a little bit different today because we don't have a guest. So
I'm a guest.
Well, I mean, okay. Maureen Rulison is going to be my guest this morning. So I guess I'll interview her as far as what we're doing and how we're doing it and so forth. But there's Melinda and there's Bobby. Anybody else? Okay.
You can keep talking.
Oh, I can? Thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't know why I remind you of that. You never stop talking until we need you to talk.
I stop talking when I sleep.
No, you don't.
Well, okay. It's a story for yet another day.
That's a good story for today.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about the story of how Brian's going to get his very own big boy bed and bedroom, because not only does he talk in his sleep, he talks to his ex-wife in his sleep. And I love him, but I just have my limits.
I have no knowledge whatsoever what she speaks of.
Mm-hmm. So anyhow, I hope everyone's week was really good. What special happened with you this week, Brian? Anything?
Well, I had okay. Well, today, June 26th, this marks the second anniversary of my triple bypass. And, that was a scary thing. With my family history, not only did I get the Alzheimer's from my mother's side, I got the coronary disease from my father's side. So it was I still keep in touch with the nurse that I tell everybody that she saved my life that day, because I went in for a checkup. And when I was leaving, she says, "Is something wrong?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, I'm a little short on breath, and I'm feeling a little tension in my chest. And I said, "But it's been going on for a couple of days." And she goes, "Oh, okay." So she goes, "Well, here, come this way." So I followed her and so forth. And we went into another examining room. And she says, "Just hold on for a second. I'm going to go get the doctor." I said, "For what?" And she goes, "Well, I want him to, look at you and see what's going on." So I sat there, and the doctor came in and listened to my chest and noticed my breathing was heavy, and I just couldn't catch my breath. It was kind of getting very, very scary. And so he says, "Oh, what do you have planned for the rest of the day?" I said, "Well, nothing that I know of. Should I know something?" And he says, "Well," he says, "what about tomorrow? Is your calendar open tomorrow?" I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Okay, good. We're going to have a little surgery." So anyway, I sincerely thank Dawn. I'm going to mess up her last name, Benedito. I think that's how you pronounce it. But yes, this happened. Yes, before Maureen. Was that AD or BC? So yeah, the doctor says, yeah, you need to have that looked at. And so they wound up replacing 3 of my arteries and so forth. And I've never felt better. So every year on this date, I send a message to my nurse and mention my doctor for saving my life that day, because I feel like if I would not have gone and would not have said anything about my breath being rapid, I probably would not be here. So, and you would have missed all of this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. What's my favorite part of your body?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have a zipper that she called. You see, this is my battle scar right here.
Because without that,
yep,
I wouldn't have Brian. So
right.
I didn't actually think you were going to get up and show everybody. Could have just said the.
Well, I wanted to
show everybody your chest.
Well, I'm damn proud of it. Aren't y'all glad we don't have guests today? Oh boy.
Well, so one of the things that I wondered if we could talk about today is Melinda said hubba hubba. It's been a long time for you, hasn't it, Melinda?
Calm down, Melinda.
Is in how you are progressing, how it's becoming more and more frustrating for you and for me, frankly, as things are becoming a little more difficult to accomplish. Tell everybody, talk about how that feels when you're trying to do something that you used to be able to do and now you can't, or now you struggle doing it. I do let him struggle a lot, but then sometimes I don't do so well.
It's not that she doesn't do so well with it. You know, Maureen is in the business of helping people. You know, helping people get the care that they need, helping people to live a good life,
a life worth
living, and so forth. And she does the same with me. Now, it's not something that, you know, she does in order to take away anything from me, but she's just the type of person, if she sees me struggling, she'll come up and she'll start doing it herself to help me, not to frustrate me, but it frustrates me because in my mind, I can still do what she's doing for me. But something from here down to here, hands, it doesn't work. And then I try to talk about it, but I forget the name of what I'm trying to do. Like setting this up this morning, I was in the bedroom and she was here in the office, and I couldn't get the camera to work. I'm on Zoom calls a lot, and I've never had a problem with getting on there, but I did this morning because it's a different program. So she came in and
I didn't want to do too much to what he has set up that works.
Right.
Because then all week long as I was in here trying to work, he'd be in there using profanity about how he couldn't get Zoom to work. So I thought, compromise. I had thought it would be cool if we were both in separate rooms and Brian could interview me. But I said, if I do that all next week, he's going to be frustrated trying to get on his Zoom meetings. So, yes, Melinda, there's a disconnect. And then the disconnect in me happens because, like yesterday, we live in Clearwater, and we were driving to a town called Seminole, which is about 25 minutes away from here, unless I'm driving, and then it's about 15. And So in this new car we have, it's got Apple CarPlay. And I get my phone set up because when I'm doing business and driving the car, I need to have my phone working on it. And we couldn't get Brian's phone to work on it yesterday. So I tried to help him, and because he wasn't getting it. So long story short, not only did we have a mini argument while I was driving, which is okay with him if we argue and fight while I'm driving, but if I try to push a button on a screen while we're driving, well, then I'm actually trying to kill him, okay? So we were just trying to listen to music, and I said, well, how about we go ahead and listen to music on my phone? No, I want it to be on my phone. So guess what? The whole way to the doctor's office, we had no music because he wanted to be on his phone and he didn't want me to help him make it happen on his phone.
I guess it was showing that my phone was connected, but there was no audio coming out. You know, the plugs were plugged in and blah blah blah. And yeah, I'm a bit stubborn.
A bit.
You got, come on, yeah, get it out. Yeah, I'm a bit stubborn because of the fact that when somebody steps in to help me without really asking, and I don't blame Maureen for that at all. That's just her nature. She's a person that helps so many people with so many different things.
Well, and I appreciate you saying that, but I have to be honest, what I do for a living has absolutely nothing to do with it. It's honest, downright frustration. I'm driving and you're getting more and more frustrated because you can't do something.
Right.
And it's actually detracting me from my driving.
Right.
Because you're over there pushing buttons and squaring and pushing and pulling and all that kind of stuff. So it's, ugly frustration. Don't give me a pass because it's not my whole helping thing.
I know. So, it's me.
No, it's my frustration.
Her frustration and my frustration. And when you bring two people that are frustrated trying to do the same thing,
so then
then I just shut down. I'll just sit there and
pout.
I don't pout. Yeah. I just keep quiet.
Like this.
I don't believe her, people.
Okay. Thankfully, I have this little device with us all the time, and I can video.
Anyway.
So then I say the two words that I say more than any other words in life. I'm sorry. And then I ask the question, what did I do this time? And he shares with me what I did wrong. And then I say, I'm sorry again. And then we don't listen to music until we stop and I can get it to work.
You see, what was happening is that I was trying to figure out what's going to make the sound come out. And, being that she's the, I don't drive anymore. So her stuff remains, set. So when I came in and I plugged mine in and then it wouldn't work, I was trying to figure out what button. And then she just reached over and went, doom, 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 doom. And then her music started playing. And it's like, and that's when I shut down, because right then and there, I felt that, yes, I knew I was frustrated, and I knew that she knew that I was frustrated. That was her way of getting rid of my frustration.
And mine.
And hers. But what it did, it shut me down, because it came, and I am not blaming her. She did this basically to help me. And I'm learning little by little that when she does things like that, the best thing for me to do is just pull back, let her do her thing, because the one thing that she does really, really well. She does a lot of things very well, but she explains it to me afterwards. There's no use in explaining things to me while I'm trying to do things, but she explains it. Doesn't mean that I'm going to remember it, because we'll do the same thing again. She'll explain it again and again and again.
Right, but what we're going to do differently, or what I'm trying to do differently now, is not put the importance on if it's not going to keep, if we're going to get hurt if we don't do something,
right,
then you can pout all you want. I'm going to do it so that we're safe. But
if stop saying pouting.
Why?
Because I don't pout. I just get mad.
Okay, if you're going to just get mad and make the pout face. If it's a matter of safety or something like that, I'm going to do it. But I've got to keep remembering, and I fail at this miserably daily. I've got to keep remembering what's really important. Yes, I would have liked to listen to music while I was driving, but was that really important? And so, it's not like once I say to Brian, I see him having trouble, he doesn't allow me to say, okay, let's just not do it. Then we have to do it. So I've got to learn not to say, let's do something, because it's just going to end up in they're not really fights or arguments. It's mutual frustration, I think.
Learning experiences.
Opportunities. Learning opportunities. Yeah. But like I said, I learned a long, long time ago, speaking of learning opportunities, that I'm sorry is usually what I need to say, because I've put my priorities on you.
Yes, but you do them out of, number one, out of love, but also you do it because and it's hard for me to say the words, but things that I no longer know. And I should just sit back and let you do it.
No, you shouldn't. It goes along with that saying that, do people with dementia stop talking because of the brain? Or do they stop talking because people stop talking to them? If you start just saying, oh, well, this is just Maureen trying to help me, and you don't fight and argue with me to keep on doing what you can do,
right,
then you're going to stop trying. It's just going to be me doing everything.
And I think I misworded my
and Melinda, there. I suggested that. I said, Brian, why don't you take my phone and why don't you create a Brian's playlist on my phone and download however many songs you want to download onto that, and then we don't have to play this game in the car. The truth of the matter is I'm sure what we're trying to do is actually very easy. I just haven't found what that really easy is. Switching from we put both of our phones in there as phones that can go on the Apple CarPlay. So, and when I'm driving, I can't be figuring out what's happening and learning. And so what I need to go do is spend some time in the car with it not moving, and we need to figure out the easy way that to happen. But yes, Melinda, that's exactly what I suggested yesterday. But Mr. Pouty did not want to do that. It either was coming from his phone and his playlist, or we were going to sit driving looking like those cartoon characters.
Now, I would like to say that just because I react in a certain way, you probably heard me say the comment that my way or the highway. Whose side are you on there, Melinda? Huh?
Mine.
Of course she is. Okay. So, but anybody else that's living with a dementia-related illness, they may have a different reaction than I do. Their care partner may have a different reaction than what Maureen does. So this is not a this
one size fits
yeah,
all.
yeah, one size fits all. Because that's
Well, just said both.
in in my world, in what she's, trying to do for me, registers, like I said, in um I'm not anger really, but just my anxiousness kind of gets the best of me. So let's go to something else.
But
What I
see,
want,
this is what people need to learn, especially people who are living in a care partner relationship like this, is that I can tell you that I've talked to enough care partners to know that we spend a great deal of time ruminating over what has happened and thinking, oh, well, I could have done this better. And we also, I'm saying we because I'm sure there's at least one other human being that feels like I do, real wonder, so when is it important what I want?
right.
The thing about dementia is, and we've said this many, many times before, it's like we have a child,
Mm-hmm.
and dementia is our child. Dementia, if it doesn't get the attention it wants, it's going to get attention in a positive way or in a negative way. Usually negative if I'm forgetting that it exists, which is, I try. I try regularly to forget that it exists because Brian does an amazing job keeping it, I don't know what you call it, under wraps or something.
Well,
But
look at it this way. There are those days where I am, and I know you don't like this word, but where I am normal, where all the cylinders are clicking and I really have a good day. And the next day, it could be exactly the opposite. I could wake up in a deep fog, not knowing too much of anything. So, I'm dealing with my frustration with that, but then she's dealing with how am I going to help him get through this? How am I going to be able to reach him? And then sometimes I just, and pardon me, but I turn into an ass, and I get angry, I get frustrated and so forth. And that's not a see, I can't find the word. When you not an accomplishment. I don't know. Go ahead.
well, but here what this was, I let it go on. This is exactly what happens, and I think this happens in a lot of relationships where probably a lot of relationships, period. But we're here to talk about dementia. Do you see how I started talking about the care partner saying, when is what I want important? But dementia took over and said, oh, don't let her talk about what's important to her. Let's talk about dementia. Let's talk about what's important to me. Let's talk about how I feel. That's not Brian. I'm telling you guys, that is not Brian. That's his dementia fighting to stay noticed. And, everybody may think I've gone round the bend, and I probably have, but I'm telling you, it's like watching a small child. I mean, Brian will be just Brian. He'll be going through the day, and if I'm in here working and I haven't gotten up and gone in and checked on him to see how he's doing, then something in his brain will tell him, well, this is an emergency. I have to go find where Maureen is, and I have to find out about this. And it doesn't matter what I'm in the middle of doing, dementia's telling him this is more important. And I am trying to learn not to recognize that as Brian, but to recognize it as dementia, and that I have two choices. I can give dementia what it needs and it'll let Brian go, or I can fight it and then we'll have a horrible day.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing that we have talked about quite a bit with each other is, for example, we're coming up in October. We're going to be on vacation for 8 days. We're going to go for 2 days to Las Vegas, 3 days to the Grand Canyon and 3 days to Sedona, Arizona. And I keep thinking about what's going to happen if Brian wakes up in a fog one morning. And I certainly am not going to drag him out and put him in a hot air balloon or on a helicopter when he's in a fog. But, these are things that we both want to accomplish while we're out there. We've paid for, we've gotten it all unscheduled. And so then I start stressing out. Well, what are we going to do if? What happens if? If I say to Brian, I'm wondering what you think I should do. What if you go into a fog? Should I try to get you to still participate? Should we just stay in the room? He says, "Oh, it's not going to happen." Like he's got control over it. And then he gets angry with me because why do you have to always think about the negative? Well, because for me, and this is not anybody except me, I need to be prepared with options. I know how to handle if everything goes right. What I don't always know is how I'm going to handle if things don't go right.
Yeah.
And I need to know that. I mean, do you remember? And by the way, I say, do you remember too? Because a lot of times the answer is yes.
And I don't mind her asking me that question.
When we went to Disney World and we stayed over at Disney World, it was the first time I'd ever been with you when you went into a really deep, lasted over 24-hour fog. And having never experienced it before, I didn't know what I was going to do. We had to check out of the hotel. I didn't even know at that point how to give Brian his insulin shots, but I knew that he had to take medicine, and I figured, well, that's something I should do. And so I just literally packed everything up and then carried things out to the car and then finally brought him out to the car. That scared me and I panicked. So now my way of dealing with things is if we're doing something that's not our normal, I plan for, here's the great part of it. Here's how, if everything goes right, what if it doesn't go right? What do I do? And then I can enjoy my time. But he doesn't like me to talk about it.
About what?
If things don't go right.
Oh, well, it's not that I don't want to hear about it or discuss it. It's, I would rather concentrate on the positive and go with that. And then if something does arise that, if I do go into a fog, and to be honest with you, I don't remember what happens when I go into a fog.
I know that, Joe, but you remember me telling you that you did go into the fog that time.
Right. And that's hard for me to understand that I can go somewhere in my head and not remember it, even though it happened up here. It just gets it disintegrates. Like, well, nothing happened, but it did. And she had a ringside seat. I say that's not fair to her.
No, it's not a matter of fair.
No. That's how I feel. I'm not saying that, yes, this is the way it's got to be, but I feel so bad afterwards because one thing that we do, and I've asked her to do this, is please let me know when or if I went into a fog. I want to know what I did. And she doesn't like really talking about it because there again, sometimes I can be an ass. And
dementia can be an ass.
So it's, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I've always asked her to tell me things that happen to me.
Well, Linda asked you a question there.
Brian, do you feel any residual emotions post-fog? Okay, here comes my Alzheimer's moment. What does she mean by residual?
So what are your feelings when you're coming out of the fog? Do you feel confused? Do you feel angry? Do you feel anxious?
I feel what the discombobulated. I don't know, it's a big word.
So
but
frustrated.
Frustrated. Because of the fact my attention goes right to Maureen, and I think, and I'm looking at her face, and it's like, what did I do? Because I usually say things that I probably should not say.
Well, lots of times you can't talk at all.
Right. So it's just gibberish. Sometimes I'll say hurtful things. And I don't know this, but I ask her to tell me, and she does. That's one thing that she does for me is just explain things, because in my mind I want to correct them and so forth. So it doesn't really. I don't know. I don't know what I'm. See there.
So I think Melinda just identified what you're trying to.
Do you feel?
Guilty.
Oh no. Oh, do I feel guilty? Oh God, yeah. Yes, definitely.
Doesn't have anything to feel guilty about.
Right.
Because again, and maybe this is just my way of coping with things. Two things. One, what I have realized is that this whole planning for the best, or hoping for the best and planning for the worst thing, is something I need to find somebody else I can run things through with, because it's not what Brian wants to deal with. And so I need to find somebody who will just sit and listen and let me work it out. And then I don't have to keep doing that with you. And the second thing is that I guess maybe I've needed to separate out dementia from Brian. It's not that I don't acknowledge that he has dementia and I love him with dementia, but I need to separate out that when he's behaving a certain way, I know that's not Brian. Yeah. So, and insofar as my question is, when is what I need or want important? Well, I guess I need to pick and choose when things are really important to me or needs are really important to me. And if they are, then I get them met some other way.
I'm listening to what Maureen said, and I'm also looking at Diane Simmons. We worked together back in the, I don't know, 2000s, early on, and we worked at Cox Communications, and we were in the technical department. I knew that I did not know a lot about what I had to learn. Diane knew basically everything that there was to know about that department. And when I would say something, I was pretty confident what I was saying, even though it was wrong. which she very nicely, and then sometimes bluntly, would tell me, why don't you just go back and sit in your chair and look important, or something like that.
Oh, and that's like when I tell you you're so pretty.
Exactly. I see that. I see that similarity. But, she was just, she wouldn't get mad at me. She would get frustrated, but she wouldn't get mad at me. And then she would come in my office later on and we'd talk about it. And I would take notes. So and
what did I just learn from this story? I'm assigning something to dementia that's really Brian.
What do you mean?
I thought that when you did that, it's because you have dementia, but when you worked with Diane, you didn't have dementia. Oops. Oops.
Damn it.
You did a marvelous job and enjoyed working with you. We did have some interesting discussions. Diane, I call them educational opportunities. That's
Oh yeah, we had some interesting discussions, didn't we?
Oh my goodness.
But,
well, guys, we wanted to let you know that you were a wonderful supervisor.
oh, thank you.
I wanted to let you know that next weekend we're not going to do a Facebook Live on Saturday. Don't look at me like we haven't talked about this. You just don't recall that we have. It's 4th of July weekend, and Brian and I are thinking about, well, on Friday we're getting massages at Safety Harbor Spa because that's where the Fountain of Youth is, and I'm hoping next time you see me I'll look like 30. But we're thinking about taking off for the weekend, so we're not going to do a live, but you know that you can go to We Are Dementia Strong on Facebook and watch the past ones, or you can go to YouTube and watch the past ones. And so we're going to thank all of you that stay in touch with us and watch us, whether it's live or recorded, and wish you a happy 4th of July.
Yeah.
If you want to get on I-75 North Friday or Saturday and watch for 2 people driving down the road, one of them flapping his arms because he can't get his phone to work in the CarPlay, and the other one looking like this when she's driving down the road because he can't get his phone to work on the CarPlay.
That'll be us. You know what? And I'm gonna try to do better.
Well, I'm going to try to get it hooked up so it happens faster.
Well, that was a good idea to make a playlist on your phone so that when we're going somewhere, we can just plug it in and, you know, that'll work.
So happy 4th of July, everybody. And again, thank you for being here with us. You make our Saturday so complete.
Yeah, I really do. And we're thankful we're thankful we are able to do this each and every Saturday. And we learn a lot from y'all as well. And we hope that you learn a lot from us. So
thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.